Hey everybody, how's it going? Like Butter here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my updated build video. A lot of people have been asking me to do a video on my updated version of my Alpha Bridge build, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. You probably hear the echo again. The styrofoam pieces that I'm going to put up on the walls don't come until Monday, so unfortunately, my empty studio here is a little bit echoey, so hopefully you can bear with me there. So we did make a few changes from the last build. Last time we were running specialized backpack and savage gloves and then 4 Alpha Bridge. This version I think is much stronger, but I want to give you guys a disclaimer before we go any further into the video. This build is not fun to use in my opinion. I think this is the strongest build currently in 1.5 if you're looking for damage output. It gives you amazing damage output for PvP and PvE, but remember, if you're playing in a group, unless you're your dedicated DPS player, this build isn't going to bring anything to your team, much like, Predator's Mark would, or, Sentry's Call, something like that, where it gives the team benefits. With, Predator's Mark, you can slow somebody, you can impair their movement, you can do damage over time. There's benefits to running that to your entire team, whereas, if you're running Alpha Bridge, you're just going to be doing damage yourself. So I think this is a really good build if you're a solo player, if you enjoy solo Dark Zone, you're going to be able to absolutely destroy people with this build. But the reason I'm making this video is because I'm actually going to make a different version of this build that I think will be a lot more fun. It probably won't be as strong, but it will give more benefits to the team, which is cool. But also, any other way that I can run the build will probably help switch things up a bit. So the other version of this build that I'm going to run is I'm actually going to run the FAMAS in the 1 slot, and then we're going to run in the 2 slot an Urban MDR. I'll explain more about why we're going to do that. It has to do with the Fire Seeker Mine, I forget what it's called, and Distracted, but we'll go more into that later. Let's go over the build currently. So if you guys want to look at the stats, this keeps glitching. I don't know what the problem is with the FAMAS. Like when you switch to the FAMAS and switch back, it just like bugs. You have to in order to see your actual DPS, you have to switch back and forth like that, which is super frustrating. But with this build currently, we're at 389,000 DPS, 399,000 toughness, 92,000 skill power, and we're going to go through each individual thing and talk about why I run it and how it helps in which situation. Okay, so in my first slot, I'm running a lightweight M4. The reason we're running a lightweight M4 is because it's one of the better weapons in the game. Also, the police M4, the LVOAC, all those weapons are very viable options if you're doing the assault rifle combo. I prefer the lightweight M4 because this one was on sale last week and it's really good. So let's go into the mods. Most of the time, for any of your mods, you want to get as much crit chance as physically possible because your crits are going to do more damage, and that damage scales with whether you're using responsive or you're using uncomplicated. All those are going to scale with your higher crit chance because the higher damage you're doing, the higher damage your crits are going to do. And also, it takes crit damage into account as well, so you want some crit damage. But I like to get the 5.52 hollow sight. 7.5% critical hit chance, 2.5% stability, 6% headshot damage. Headshot damage and crit chance are the two things that you're looking for on your optic and also in your barrel. Same thing, headshot damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage. This is what you want. You can get other things like optimal range and stuff, but I wouldn't worry about it. I would just stick to these 3 stats here. You were looking for an Omega rifle suppressor. That's the suppressor that gives you the headshot damage as the main stat. Your underbarrel, I like using the small grip because it gives you crit damage. Crit damage helps a lot, and there's not too many good things you can get here without it completely messing up uncomplicated. So, you can get an angle grip, but it'd give you a shit ton of stability, and then that would lower your damage a lot, so you don't want to do that. 19% crit hit damage, 2% accuracy, 4.5% reload speed. If you want optimal range here, that's fine too. But as long as you're not using too many accuracy and stability mods, you should be okay. And then for my magazine, I'm running 114% magazine size. Now, the mag size don't go this large anymore. This is a mag from 1.5 1.3 or 1.4. I think it's 1.3. And when it came over, for some reason I had a mag that was 117% and 114%. So yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but the highest you can get now, the level 34 mods are like 111%, but it's still really good. It's only like it's only like 1 bullet difference, if that. 3% crit chance and fire rate. You want fire rate on all your weapons. It's just the way to go. The faster your rate of fire, the more amount of burst potential you have, both for NPCs and players. So that's really important there. Our second weapon, we're running the FAMAS. We got the holographic sight. The reason I'm running this is because it doesn't take any stats away. Here we have accuracy, which kind of sucks, but you're not going to be using your FAMAS ever. Now, I've had some people tell me that the mods in your FAMAS affect the mods in your first weapon. I'm not entirely sure if that's true. I'm pretty sure what the bug is like if you're using your FAMAS, it takes stability and accuracy mods into consideration on your other weapon. But you're never going to be really using the FAMAS unless you take it out just to like last hit somebody instead of reloading. But for the most part, these things really don't matter. Now, if you want to be safe, you can just have like nothing on your FAMAS, like no accuracy or stability mods, but I don't really even worry about that too much. 10% max, 110% magazine size, 4.5% reload speed, 3% crit chance. So you can see the lightweight M4 is the primary for this build. I'm running a 93R, nothing special here. I rolled for brutal. It's good for finishing off players, honestly. It doesn't seem like it, but sometimes you get them low, you pop out your 93R and it does tons of damage. So you can see here that we got the Barrett's chest piece finally. We got it out of his sealed cache. This one was okay. It had decent rolls. It had like the things that I wanted, but it didn't have like a good amount of them. So what I ended up doing here is, even though this was like 1190, I rolled it to 1272, which is the max. So this is awesome. I have max firearms on here. Damage to elites, obviously you want exotic damage resilience here, but I didn't think it was really that necessary to roll for that. 1142 armor and then 53% ammo capacity, which is good since I'm running Alpha Bridge. The ammo capacity here, you want your minor attribute here on your chest piece and also on your backpack. It's very important that you have ammo capacity on those two things if you're running Alpha Bridge, because you're using the same ammo pool for both weapons. And then this is going to be the same mod that I'm using throughout my entire build. This was a stamina mod that was on sale a couple weeks back. By the way, the vendor video is going to have to wait till tomorrow. I wanted to do this because I'm going to change my build for the stream tonight, so I wanted to do this before I mess my build completely up. But you can see here, these are 261 stamina, 271 armor. So I bought like a shit ton of those, so we're gonna have a lot of those there for my mask. Alpha Bridge, 1260 firearms, 3.5% crit hit chance, and 14% disorient resist. Now, honestly, I think it would be much better if I had exotic damage resilience here instead of crit chance, and also enemy armor damage here instead of disorient resist. But I don't think I'm gonna get a better mask before I end up switching anyways, so it's cool. For my knee pads, I have 1269 firearms, which obviously I rolled, 1200 armor, disrupt, burn, and enemy armor damage. I have a couple different versions of these, and some of these are actually really good, like this one here and this one there, but for the most part, I'm using the firearms one. If you notice, I put a lot more into firearms in this build because even though I feel like it's more beneficial just to hit the 4800 firearms and then go all stamina if you're playing in a group. I've been playing like solo and kind of duo recently, and you want to have as much damage as possible if you're doing that, even though it feels like the extra firearms sometimes can be a waste. It will help your damage output quite a bit. And it did that thing again. You see how it's like going down to... Wait, and then it went back up. I'm so confused. Okay, anyways. So yeah, same thing there. Now, for performance mods, I am running First Aid Self-Heal on everything. The reason I'm running that is because I am using Booster Shot, which has a very low percentage of First Aid Self-Heal, so getting that extra heal really helps. My backpack, I actually got this backpack last night from a survival run. It was perfect. I loved it, but obviously, you know, you can see here, if I unequip this mod, I've been getting pretty unlucky with the rolls. I think this is going to cost like 3 million, 4 million to roll. Might even be more than that, but it had a really high armor roll, higher than this one here, and it had ammo capacity, one of the highest ammo capacities you can get, so I was really happy with that, and you know, that completed my build pretty much. So I'm still running these Savage Gloves, 1269 stamina, 1299 fire or assault rifle damage, sorry, critical hit damage and critical hit chance. Now these could be better. I could get 6% crit chance here, and like, I don't know, I think you can get like 17 crit hit damage. But for the most part, they do what they need to, and it's got a really high base armor. So, and then this Alpha Ridge holster here, 1271, 1232, 1257. I mean, this stamina could be higher. If the stamina was more like 1260 or 1270-ish, it would make me tankier. But it had a good armor roll, so that is the build. So just to let you guys know, like, just to show you, some people were a little bit confused in my last build. Hopefully I went through it this time. I might have forgot again, but for the weapon talents that I'm running Destructive, Brutal, Adept, Vicious, Unforgiving, and Uncomplicated. Uncomplicated is the whole reason that you run the FAMAS in the second slot. Unforgiving is really strong because, you know, when you get low in those really close one-on-one fights, that extra 25% damage is like insane. Adept, obviously one of my favorite talents in the game. If you're using Pulse, for example, and you use your Pulse, you're going to get a huge boost in crit chance and crit damage, and then add 7.5 on top of that for 15 seconds. That's like crazy. Brutal, obviously, because you want the headshot damage. If you're playing on console and you don't think that you aim for the head very much because it's harder to control the assault rifles, maybe you want to go something else there, like Responsive, and then we're running Destructive here. So, let's go into like just the character stats to show you guys, like, you know, what else I'm rocking and whatnot. So enemy armor damage is 48%. Obviously, if I get 9% on my mask, it would bring me up closer to like 56-ish, which would be nice. 56, 57 range, which would help a lot more. But for the most part, that's pretty good. We have 186,000 health. If you can get up to around 200,000, I think that'd be a little bit better. But like I said, I put more emphasis on firearms in this build. 53.44% armor, which is you know, pretty good. Usually, if you can get to 55%, that's like godly for this, for World Tier 5. And then, like, you know, shock resist, disrupt resist, all this stuff will help out. Now, the reason I'm running Barrett's chest piece, some people are going to ask me about this. Barrett's chest piece is insanely strong, but it's very hard to get. Now, the reason is because if you read the stats on this, no skills on cooldown increases skill power by 10%, which means, you know, my skill power is increased when I'm not using any skills. One skill on cooldown increases damage by 5%. Two skills on cooldown increases armor by 10%. So, you know, this build, even though I only have 399,000 toughness, I'm going to show you what happens when I pop both of my skills. So when I go to use like my pulse, if I'm going to do damage, or if I'm using anything like Seeker Mine or anything at all, usually you're going to lead off with a skill. So that's good because it's going to make my pulse technically stronger, I think. I'm not sure if pulse scales that well with skill power though. Let me check here for a second. I don't think it does. Yeah, it does a little bit. So this is, if you look here, this is 14% crit chance, 14% crit hit damage, which obviously is, you know, kind of weak, but, you know, for the most part, you got to think 14% crit chance and 14% crit damage, plus the 7.5% crit chance from Adept, plus the extra base damage that we're going to be doing from Barrett's. I'll show you guys what my DPS goes up to. So from 389, it instantly pops up to 416. Now that's just from Barrett's alone. Now if I pop my other skill here, my damage is going to go up even higher, 461,000, and my toughness is going to be out of this world, 531,000 rather. I don't know why I keep reading numbers wrong, but that's just from popping, you know, the resistances on that. That doesn't include like critical save or on the move or any of those other talents. That's just strictly those two talents themselves. Now let me get myself low really fast. I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna throw frag grenades. I'm gonna get myself low, and I'm gonna show you like with, you know, once I get, hold on, make sure that I don't actually kill myself here. And I'm waiting for my heal to come off cooldown. I'm going to show you guys how insane the toughness gets. Now this is why I'm saying that player talents need to be nerfed pretty hard. Okay, so I'm going to get low there. Here, I got a better idea. Let's... Okay, so I'm still bleeding. Alright, perfect. Right now I'll throw it. So right now I pop that. So I get the critical save. And there you go, 887,000 toughness just from that. Oh, we're over 1 million now. So that's just with critical save alone with booster shot. So that's why I'm running booster shot, for the extra burst damage potential and the extra resistance. It doesn't really matter if your health's a little bit lower and your toughness is lower. If your toughness is boosting to 1 million, like that extra damage is going to be insane from Barrett's and also the resistances. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop the video a like. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I missed. Probably just the player talents. If you're running solo, I think these are decent player talents to run. Critical save, strike back, on the move. One is none. If you're running with a group, you want to take strike back off and put on combat medic, because it heals your group, which is, pretty important. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop the video a like, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care, everybody.